People are ready to go. So before I begin, to help me and to help you all, I'm going to do an exercise. So we're going to breathe in for 3 seconds, hold it for 3 seconds, and then breathe out for 3 seconds more. Did you get it? Good. So my passage is also Psalms 22, but I will be reading verses 1 through 6 and then 13 through 20. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me? From the words of my groaning, oh my God. I cried by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but you find no rest. Yet you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel, and your ancestors trusted. They trusted and you delivered. To you they cried and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. Many bulls encircle me. Strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their mouths at me, like a raving and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within my breast. My mouth is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death, for dogs are all around me. A company of evildoers encircles me. My hands and feet have shivered. I can't count all my bones. They stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among themselves, and for my clothing they cast lots. But you, O Lord, do not be far away. O my help, come quickly to my aid. Deliver my soul from the sword, my life from the power of the dog. Save me from the mouth of the lion. Hear what the Spirit is saying. So I work at Main Event Entertainment, which is usually very noisy, especially on Party Street, because that's where all the parties are held. I usually deal with that noise anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a day. Then on my way home in the car, it's also very noisy. I can hear the road and sometimes other people's loud music. Then when I get home, it is still very noisy, with people watching TV or playing video games or playing music out loud. Now, I will say I do live with 7 other people, which contributes to the noise a lot. We live in a world full of noises, background noises, celebrations and parties. We even need noise to sleep, like watching TV or playing a video game. We can't stay away from noise no matter how hard we try. I have the tendency to become very concerned when I come home to no noise. Usually that means that no one is there, but sometimes I'm surprised to find my little sister quietly sitting down doing her homework. I know we all grow concerned when we are home for an amount of time and don't hear any noises, like kids running around or music playing. We are very accustomed to noise, and the act of silence is very fearful. When looking at the word I presented today, it took me a while to find the words to describe what I was feeling. I read the passage and felt called to preach about it. I was so excited. I was on my way home from Kansas City and was going to start writing it as soon as I got back into town. And then I started writing, but I had a very difficult time. I prayed about it for a while and decided to come back to it later. Then I felt the hard truth. The hard truth I didn't want to deal with was the fact that I identified with David in this story. See, we have the tendency to try to find the good guy, the hero that God admires. But there is no hero or healer in this story. Only a real human being crying out to God. People of God, we are all like David in this letter. When times are tough and we have nowhere to turn, we will scream, my God, why have you forsaken me? We already expect God to be of aid to us, when times are tough, but sometimes it seems like God does not answer. Silence is the hardest thing to deal with when it is the silence of God.
Amen.
I know we wish we could be like Adam and Eve, who not only heard God, but got to see Him as well. But we are not like Adam and Eve. We are just like David. It is hard for us to function when we feel like God is not there. Especially when we pray so hard like David did. I've met so many people who say, "Oh, I heard God say this to me or that." I grow very jealous of them, but I also don't understand. I wonder, why is God so mute to me at times? The silence is bothering. The silence is agonizing. The silence is annoying. The silence hurts more than anything else. Most of us know how it feels to cry out to God like David and receive no answer. No matter how much we pour our heart out to God or pray hundreds of prayers, I know the biggest reason we grow so torn is because we expect a response. If you pray to God, you anticipate an answer or a sign of truth. In life, we expect if we work hard, it will pay off. If we get a certain degree, we'll be able to work a certain job.
Come on.
If we invest in a house strategically, there'll be a great payoff. But when we cry to God and nothing happens, we cry even more because we expect God to answer, but we receive no response. We each have our own relationship with God. I don't know about you, but just like all my relationships, the sense of not being heard or answered is heartbreaking. I tend to feel like I don't matter. I tend to feel alone and ignored. I tend to feel like garbage. What is even worse is when bad things happen to us. The word says, "Many bulls encircled me, strong bulls of Bashan surrounded me. They opened wide their mouths at me like raving and roaring lions." And it also says, "But I am warm and not human, scorned by others and despised by my people." David is being bullied and experiencing physical pain. And like David, we look for an explanation to this. I wondered always, why was I bullied? We all have. But the holy God, the one we love and sing praises to, is not delivering David. After all this weeping and silence, we can begin to believe that God is not there. Today, I'd like for you to explore the idea with me of God's silence being a greater message than we can understand. And here's my story. Near the end of March 2015, I started at a new school in a new city. It was a totally different atmosphere than I was used to. There was new rules and just a lot of new things to gain accustomed to. One of the hardest problems I had was being the new guy. The new guy who came in the middle of the school year. It was hard to make friends. I've actually had this issue most of my life growing up. With that, I was bullied and picked on. But this time around, I was not bullied or picked on. I just simply didn't have any friends. It got to the point where I became really angry with myself and with God. I was enraged with anger, and I would say, my God, why have you forsaken me?" I was praying often, actively involved in church, and was otherwise trying to be very Christ-like in everything I do. That goes to say I didn't understand why I was struggling, even though I had been doing good work. I may not have been struggling like David, but we all have those moments when we feel like trouble is near and there is no one to help. Friends, sometimes God's silence is an answer we aren't willing to accept. I had to realize me not having school friends was not the end of the world. And God not answering my call, pleading for friends, was God's way of saying it's not the right time. There's a time and a place for everything. Once I shifted my focus from friends to spending my time alone, focusing on God and my faith, it forever changed in a great way. I felt a lot more peace, and the need for friends lessened. My relationship with God grew, and now I can understand what God may have been directing me to do. I also realize there is not a right-away answer, and there will be times but it will take forever. I still struggle to understand God's silence. There is no course you can take to understand God, and I am not at all an expert. I need to work on my relationship with God and put God first in all things. That doesn't mean those who have constant communication with God still don't receive silence every now and then. I've been very honest with myself about praying to God, listening to the Word of God, and behaving like a Christian. But God still doesn't always answer my prayers. God's silence is a way of communication. It's sometimes difficult to understand because we may have come to terms with a habit or behavior we have to break.
That's right.
Notice patterns that we need to change.
Come on.
Figure out something about ourselves we didn't notice before but don't want to admit.
Amen.
God's silence can sometimes be God's way of communicating the hard truth. So I invite you all to be open to a new form of communication with God. Try to understand God's silence as a new way of communicating.
Yes.